Hey everybody, Chad Mackin with the Something to Bark About podcast. I got another thing I want to talk to you guys about. But before I get to that, if you would, go ahead, please subscribe to this channel. If you like this video, hit the little thumbs up button down there. Leave a comment, write a review, whatever. Do whatever you can to support us if you find this stuff valuable, all right? So I want to talk today a little bit about something that's been bothering me a little bit lately as I watch dog trainers sort of melt down and break down different, like there's a lot of controversy going on right now, but inside the controversy, there's another issue that's happening that I want to talk about, and that is this idea of degree instead of type, right? So we start talking about purely positive versus balance, right? This idea, this myth of two camps, and it's ridiculous because there aren't two camps. There's thousands of camps, because the issue is not about, in most cases, whether an individual will use punishment at all, right? Because even the purely positive trainers are going to use negative punishment if they have to, right? But the idea is about the degree and type. Let me get a little more philosophical, if you will. If I say, for example, dogs can understand English, a lot of people go, no, they can't. They can't. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. They certainly can. If I tell them to sit, they can put their butt on the ground. They know sit. They understand that the word sit associates with an action. If I say here, they understand that that word associates with an action. If I say yes, they understand that that word associates with a certain event. That is understanding English. Associating an abstract word from a concrete real world thing, that is understanding language. So the problem is when we say dogs understand English, we are arguing not about whether they understand English, and we're arguing about the degree to which they understand English, right? So they have a level of understanding. Could I read them a Shakespeare sonnet and have them understand it? No. So understanding is not necessarily this catch-all thing. So we talk about words like understandings, we talk about words like emotions, we talk about words like punishment or correction or whatever, and all of those are matter in terms of degrees. All of those matter in terms of degrees. So, like, for example, a lot of trainers who will use a prong collar, for example, don't want to call out a trainer who's using prong collar in a really aggressive way and saying, that's not cool. I don't like that. I don't think that's fair to the dog. Because the answer could be, well, you do the same thing. You use that tool. I use that tool. What's the difference? It's not in the tool. It's in how you use it. As you know, as the old saying goes, it's the fool, not the tool. But that a lot of times comes down to the degree that we're doing things. What degree of punishment are you comfortable with doing with a dog? Where is that you're going to draw the line? Where is that line going to be? That's what I mean by degree. But it gets all wrapped up when we start talking about all of these things. Like, it's so much to the point that I don't like talking about punishment at all as a training strategy, because what happens is I say, oh, I will use a leash correction for that or a leash correction for that, and then 3 weeks, 3 months later, I see somebody online doing something very vaguely similar to what I said to do, but with way more intensity and way more aggressiveness than I ever intended. And they're like going, oh yeah, Chad Mackin does this too. No, I don't. I don't, and I'm not trying to say that makes that a bad person, or that person bad. I maybe disagree with that, and that's the other thing too. There are a lot of there's every trainer I know I disagree with, right? There's not a trainer in the world that I agree 100% with, right? Jay Jack is a very good friend of mine, but we disagree about some things, right? But that disagreement doesn't is not of the degree that I have to lose respect for him as a trainer, as a human being, or distance myself from him. There are some trainers that I disagree with so much, to such a degree that I have to distance myself from it. I had to tell people I'm not like that. I don't agree with that. I don't train like that. And it's not about disagreement. It's about the degree of disagreement. And again, we tend to think that this guy disagrees with me, therefore they are them. They're on the in the other camp. They're not no longer in us. But that's never the case, or almost never the case. Disagreement comes in degrees too. So as you're participating in these online bloodbaths, man, remember to talk about degree, not just what you believe. Because there are a lot of people who may say they do the same thing you do, but you watch them work, it's very different, because it's a difference in degree. How often are they using that technique, and how aggressively do they use that technique, or how passively do they use that technique? Like, you may find that somebody's too soft for you or too harsh for you or whatever, but the point is they may be on paper they may look like they're your twin when they describe their training. But if you watch it, you can see a lot of difference, right? So degree is really an important aspect of what we're talking about. Whenever we're talking about training methods and modalities, don't just get caught on what they're doing. Get caught up on the degree to which they're doing that. Again, food. How much food do I use when I train dogs? Some trainers may go, oh, I use a lot of food, but they may look at me and go, oh, you use too much food. Or I use mainly kibble. And they may go, that's not good enough. I use like liver or high value stuff or whatever. All of that's about degree. We both agree that food is valuable. The amount of food we might disagree with, and they may say that the amount of food that I'm using is too far a degree, and they may disagree with me strongly there, or they may feel like I'm not far enough into the food camp. But we're all agree that food is a good idea. So you can't just go with what people are willing to do and what people aren't willing to do. You got to really look at the degree to which they're using them. All right. So I think this, hopefully, if we can start thinking this way, it will clear up a lot of the divisions. Because, like I said, I find that I have more in common with a lot of people who consider themselves on the positive end of the spectrum than people that consider themselves to be, further into the balanced spectrum. I'm certainly balanced in the sense that I do use all four quadrants, and then a lot of classical conditioning too. But if you look at my work, you're going to see a lot more similarities, hopefully, between, some of the better positive base trainers than you will with some of the more aggressive balance trainers. All right. So it's not about difference in type so much as difference in degree. That's what I want to say. All right. So keep that in mind as you move forward. It's a good thing for life too, like in all discussions, but especially in dogs. Look at the degree to which we're agreeing versus the degree to which we're disagreeing. All right. So that's it. Thanks for watching again. Check out put a comment down below if you got something to say. Let's talk about it. Let's hear about it. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. All right. Take care, guys, and we'll see you around.